I am a man of honor, integrity, and promise. I pursue all righteousness. I love my family. I will not put my family in harm's way. There is nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing. I am an ambassador of hope and a man of discipline. I am a man worth following. I am a TYRO.
Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And we are the co-directors of the Ridge Project, co-founders of the Ridge Project, and the co-creators of TYRO.
Ooh, we are a lot.
We are a lot.
We are a lot. But let me tell you what the definition of TYRO is. The word TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
And so we developed TYRO out of our own personal experience. And that experience was through 15 years of prison, some time on welfare, doing time on welfare. Yes, that's exactly what it feels like, is doing time. Getting caught up in a mentality of entitlement. That means, well, you know what, somebody owes us something. And through that journey, we learned a ton of lessons about what it means to actually create your own destiny, your own legacy, to build a strong and thriving family. And now our passion is to help people coming behind us achieve their greatest dreams.
So what Cathy's talking about is, how do we embrace our experience? How do we learn the lessons that we're learning in the midst of that ordeal or the horrific time that in your life that you're trying to navigate through, right? And then how do you apply those things that you're learning? And that's what we get to do today. We get to empower others to have success no matter where they're at and no matter what level of life that they're at, but there's always a measure of success in everything that you do.
So when Ron first went to prison, I was determined I'm going to do it on my own. I don't need anybody to help me do anything. Well, that was totally the wrong attitude. And so on the flip side of that, I found myself later on thinking I can't do anything alone. And that's totally the wrong attitude. And so when we think about leveraging resources, we think about finding the middle ground between I can do everything on my own.
So here's the pendulum swing.
Help
I can do everything on my own.
Right. And the other side of that is I cannot do anything on my own. And so today we're going to talk about how to leverage resources in a healthy way that keeps you balanced, keeps you in control of your life, but also helps you take advantage of resources that are available to you.
Because there are a lot of resources out there, but you want to make sure that you're investing the right energy in the right space. Because if you decide that you think that you might need something, you find out you done spent 2 weeks trying to get some understanding on something out there that's supposed to help you, but that's not what you need. We want to help you really have discernment. Don't waste your time. Don't go to that place. Go where you need to go to get the help you need right now.
So when we come back, we're going to break down the difference between what it means to leverage resources available to you or live in an entitlement mentality. So stay tuned. We're going to help you become better. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And today we are talking about the difference between leveraging resources and living in entitlement.
You know, we know today's subject may not be the glamorous subject to talk about, but it's something that needs to be discussed, needs to be really unveiled, if you will. What does it mean to leverage resources that are available to you from the moment you hit the streets?
And not even that. from this moment, right now where you are, there's a ton of resources available to you. There's a lot of organizations. The Ridge Project, the TYRO program, is one of many resources that is going to help you become a better dad, help you become a better provider, help you become more prepared to come out into society and function in a really great way.
But the secret is to discern and to know which one you need right now, right where you're at. Because like Cathy said, there's a lot out there, but you really got to know where you want to stake your ground in. You don't want to go out and stake your ground in all these different type of resources, and you can't leverage any of them because you're spread out too thin, right? You're trying to accomplish or acquire too much at one time. So what we want to talk about today is how do you leverage a resource that's going to help you reach your goal without having that sense of entitlement, like somebody owes you something or you're doing them a favor because you believe that they're there to serve you.
And so when Ron first went to prison, I found myself in a place of needing a ton of help. But I also found myself in a place of saying, you know what, I can do it all by myself. I do not need anybody to help me and my kids. I'm going to figure it out all alone. Found out very quickly I needed Medicaid. I needed food stamps. I needed a cash assistance check. I needed all of this help. And it was devastating because it was like, oh my gosh, I can't do it alone.
So even
Housing
a sense
assistant, everything.
A sense of humility, or not humility, humiliation.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're embarrassed.
Yeah, and then it went from there to a place of, you know what? Yeah, okay, this is great. I can leverage or take advantage of all these resources. And then I got to a place where it was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can actually do it without it. I can't imagine living without Medicaid. How would I possibly make it without my food stamps? How am I ever going to be able to pay rent without having this rental assistance?
So on my side is when Cathy was having to embrace this new lifestyle, wow, or this event in her life, right? Now here's where I, as a man, as the husband, as the father of the home, I failed. I failed in being that provider. I failed in being that breadwinner. I failed in being that security for our family because not only was I incarcerated, now I'm not there to help Cathy and the boys make it in life. So the legacy that I had seen that I didn't even got started, it was already being destroyed. And I was that person that was destroying it.
But also, you were also that person that helped us to rebuild it. So when we think about tearing down things, okay, so we were left with absolutely nothing, like worse than nothing. We owed a ton of people, a ton of money, so we were like deep in this hole, right?
Right, deep.
So then when we realized, hey, we need help, Ron would say, okay, Cathy, it's okay. Go ask for help. It's okay. So giving me permission to ask for help was a big deal.
Yep.
And the second part was giving me permission to be self-sufficient was also a big deal.
And that's a key. I remember when Cathy, and we're going to talk about this later, that is great, Cass, giving her permission to be self-sufficient. That means I had to humble myself and believe that Cathy could start her own company. I had to humble myself and believe that she had the know-how or the wherewithal to
I was
endure.
going to say the grit.
And the grit,
right.
You know what? The grit to persevere and to begin something new, to create a better world and a better life for her and the boys, where all I could do was become CEO, Chief Empowering Officer. That's all I could do is empower her by encouraging her and tell her you can do it.
So when we think about what it means to leverage resources, that means if there are resources that your family needs to take advantage of, whether that's free school lunch, whether that's food stamps, whether it is a cash assistance or Medicaid, you need to be encouraging your children and your family so that they can be taken care of. But from the mindset, and as you're steering the ship, right? So you should be making sure that they understand, you know what, for a season, these are great resources for a season, and they're going to help us get to the place where we are going to be able to stand on our own 2 feet, and then we're going to be able to help other people.
You know what's really disappointing, and that I've witnessed, that I know Cathy's witnessed too, when we see men come out of prison and they were that CEO, they were that Chief Encouraging Officer to their family. Yes, go ahead. When you need help, do it. When I get home, I'm going to take care of my business, and I'm going to get us where we're supposed to be. But what happens is that the father will come home and he'll see the food stamps, he'll see the Medicaid, and he'll go ahead and want to, you know what, let's go ahead and hang on to this for a while.
Oh, wait, we can't do that because if we do that, we'll lose our food stamps. Well, I can't take that job because we might lose our cash assistance. And so that now you've switched from that mentality of, you know what, I have a plan and this is just a season and I'm going to navigate through that plan to stand on my own 2 feet. Now you're taking on this mantle of learned helplessness. And that's what we want to help you avoid. We want to help you know how to leverage those resources in a way way that actually cause you to become more self-sufficient, stronger, and a healthy, thriving family.
So we want to encourage you to be brave, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So when we come back, we're going to talk about actually what does that look like. So we talked about, well, what is it we're talking about? It's what we just shared. Now, why is it important to have a different mentality as we leverage this? Why is it important to take the 30,000-foot view instead of stay stuck in the weeds?
So when we come back, we're going to break it all down for you, so stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through family days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we're talking about how to leverage the resources that are outside of your power.
And not to develop a lifestyle of entitlement.
Ooh, I remember when I lived in a world where everything I believed it was all about me and everything was owed to me. And I mean, it was crazy. I had a job and I felt entitled that, you know what? I get that raise, I get the overtime, I get everything just because I showed up. Not because I was a great worker, not because I outperformed anybody else, just because I was there. Right?
I think you lived your whole life that way, Ron.
Yeah, I'm
like
glad.
Just because I showed up, I
Because I
deserve
showed up,
everything, right?
And then when I got to a place in my life, and where I couldn't be that for you, I couldn't be that knight in shining armor for you, and I had to encourage you, honey, you gotta go get food stamps, you gotta go get Medicaid, you gotta go get some type of assistance.
So let's talk about the full circle that I had to go through. So we went from a place of I don't need anybody, I can do it all on my own. I'm not going to take advantage of anything that I haven't earned and worked for myself. Going from that to, you know what, I do need somebody. So let's say our starting point is here. So then, you know what, I do need help. Here's my next segment. I do need help. I need somebody to come alongside me and help me. So I sign up, I start getting assistance, and then I go to, wow, yeah, gosh, it's really great to have this help. And then to, wait a minute, I can't do anything without help. So my mindset began to shift away from I can do everything without help to, well, okay, I need help, and now I can do nothing without help.
So what I'm hearing you say is you stopped dreaming.
I stopped dreaming, absolutely.
Wow, so let's talk about the why then. Yeah. Why do we have to really come to a place of when you're building a legacy? Now listen, food stamps, Medicaid, all this type that we're talking about, it is great.
Right.
When you need it. But there has to come a time when you gotta see yourself off of this assistance, where you have to grow. With something should be an event in your life, not a lifestyle.
Because without that, you are now, I began living the life somebody else was prescribing for me. Here's your budget, Cathy. Here's how much you have, Cathy. Live within this, Cathy, or otherwise, and it was a big thing, otherwise you're gonna lose your benefits.
But it's a scary place to even make that decision.
It was very scary. It was super scary. I mean, coming to a place of saying, okay, you know what, if I don't do something right now, the rest of my life, I'm going to continue living this, like just this kind of barely getting by, making sure I don't make too much to lose my assistance, but so that I could take care of my family. Now, it was a very real fear. Because I had 2 kids, I was taking care of all by myself.
In prison, we even have a sense of entitlement. When I was there, I remember that if we missed breakfast, if they didn't serve us breakfast, we were upset. We would actually be upset, and then...
Yeah, but you had somebody actually taking care of you. You didn't have to do it on your own.
Right, and we would act like, you know what, they owe us breakfast. In fact, they would owe us, we would write grievances, write kites, if they missed lunch and they didn't bring us our bag lunch. If you miss lunch, state requires, I don't even know if this is a real rule, maybe it's just a penitentiary rule, that they have to bring you a bag lunch. And so I was with the mindset, well, it doesn't matter if I miss lunch. They owe me a bag lunch. And guess what? In that bag lunch, I already knew I was going to get a bologna sandwich and I think a packet of mustard and ketchup and maybe some applesauce. But guess what? They owe it to me. I want my bologna sandwich. And that was crazy. And so I had that life experience outside prior to going to prison, and I carried it in prison. That same entitlement, instead of saying, you know what, I don't know why I missed lunch, I don't know what happened, but I can go without lunch. I'm not gonna die.
So that's exactly what we're talking about, Ron, that whole sense of entitlement, of, you know what, somebody owes me something.
Yeah.
And so when we think about the importance, Dad, that you can do from where you are, is number one, helping your family realize they don't have to do it all alone. There's a ton of resources out there, from financial assistance to relationship assistance to connecting family resources.
You know what, and I want to share with Cathy what you just said. You know, we can't let these resources that we can leverage intimidate us.
Right.
You know, sometimes it's intimidating to go to a bank and to go to a bank manager and ask him, can you help me put together a budget? You know, I'm right now I'm on assistance, but I want to get off assistance, but I don't know how to do it with what I have. Can you show me how to leverage what I have?
Right. Or what's it going to take? Where do I need to be in order to get a loan to do what I want to do?
Exactly.
And there are so many. I mean, so many resources out there that we have to take advantage of, to job skills training, to getting a job, to healthy relationship, to fatherhood skills. All of those things are really important. But then getting to a place where we recognize that at some point we have to become the antidote. We have to become not just the value extractor, and it's okay to be that for a season, but now we have to be the value creator, where we actually come full circle over to the other side, where now we are saying, you know what, I am capable of walking on my own 2 feet. So let me do that and take care of my family while I help somebody else that needs assistance go through that cycle of assistance and then getting off of it. The same thing.
But in order for that to happen, you got to recognize where you're at. You got to recognize where you're at and embrace the experience you're having. Because if you don't get to there and you just keep having that Western mentality and you see the word free, so you keep taking and never really come into a place of where, you know what, this is only a season. Mm-hmm. You know what, I'm not going to turn this into a lifestyle. You cannot empower or set other people free from this type of mentality until you really come to a place where we're saying, you know what, yes, I'm going to get food stamps, and I'm going to set a goal in the next 6 months. I'm going to wean myself off of food stamps. I'm going to wean my family off of Medicaid. I'm going to put myself in a place, rather that's...
Or maybe it might be 2 years where you get a degree.
I was just going to say that. Whether it's going to take you 2 years to get an associate's degree, maybe you're going to go in the medical field or something. Maybe you're going to go in some sort of field where...
It took me 8 years.
Okay.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about how to actually get off of or actually leverage resources in a way that causes you to have not just an in date, but also an out date.
That's it.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And we're talking about today how to leverage the resources that are out there that will help you get where you're trying to get.
Or to put that another way, to help you understand what it's going to take to make your dreams come true, to really live the life you really want to live, and to build the legacy you really want to build for your family.
And you get there by allowing the resources that are out there to help you get there, but not help you stay where you're at. Right? And that's the mistake people make. They get the resources and they use these resources to help them stay where they're at, help them stay stuck in the life that they find themselves in, instead of using it as a catapult to something better.
So it is so scary to actually ask for help. Then once you get beyond that and you ask for help, then it's scary to stop asking for help. And so as I went through this whole cycle that I talked about not wanting to take any resources and then getting to the place of feeling like, gosh, I can't live without those resources, I had to come to a decision. When we think about how do you leverage them, you find the resources you need, whether that is tuition assistance, and we already talked about food stamps, we talked about Medicaid, whatever those things are, make a list of the places that you need help. Make a list of the places that your family needs help, and then encourage them to seek out those resources, apply for them, and benefit from them, because it's going to help you build a strong family. And on the other side of that, also help them determine, and you sit down and decide, okay, where do I need to be? What do I need to do to get to a place where I no longer need to accept assistance? And so I remember sitting in a prison visiting room, Ron, with you, and we talked about, okay, so I'm getting food stamps, and I'm getting welfare check, and I'm getting Medicaid and rental assistance. And it's like, okay, so now how do we get to a place of getting off that? And I remember the first time that you said that, because Ron was the one that did two things. One, encouraged me to get on, and two, encouraged me to get off. And I remember saying to you, Ron, you don't understand. I can't possibly how dare you say to me, I need to get off of welfare. Like you're making me feel awful, and I can't make it without this. I've got these two boys that I'm trying to raise out here alone.
You know, and that is a tough conversation to have.
It is.
Especially when I'm on the inside, all my bills are being taken care of. You know, I got 3 meals and a cot, all those, that stereotype and everything that I have at my disposal, right? Hot water, right? I'm not taking cold showers, right? I got a laundry mat. I got everything I possibly could want being in penitentiary. And then here I am trying to encourage Cathy, look, I know it's scary, but you can't stay here. You can't stay in this mental state. I remember like it was yesterday when you started dreaming again and you saw yourself becoming a paralegal. And, you know, so you started looking at different avenues on how do you get that? And where are you going to get the money for that? And then, but I happen to know inside the penitentiary that the men who become paralegals there, they went to Blackstone School of Law. All I did was say, hey, look, check this out. See if this is a path that you can achieve what you're trying to do. And it worked out great where they were able to send you the work home and you were able to study and become a paralegal. Is that what they're called? Paralegalists? Right? But become a licensed person that can help lawyers fight on their case, which was awesome. But the dreaming began with you. I was just an encourager. That, look, you don't have to stay here. And really, you had to find your own passion. What do I want to do with my life?
So I actually had to come to a place where I made a decision where I was like, okay, this is it. If I need to go start doing something that brings money in, and then I had to make a decision, this is my out date. So by this date, I'm going to go in, I'm going to refuse any cash assistance and any food stamps. Now, Medicaid, I knew, like wisdom said, I still needed to have Medicaid to take care of my sons and all of their medical bills and make sure everybody was healthy and safe. So I said, okay, let me go in and let me sign off and say, I don't want to take this anymore. And oh my goodness, what was crazy is that at that time, I hope it's not still the same now, but at that time I went in, I said, I don't want to take food stamps anymore. I just want to refuse food stamps because I can now buy groceries myself for my own family. And I'm on a plan to get totally off of assistance. They acted like I was out of my mind that I would not accept assistance.
So they actually I don't know what they put a resistance of you growing, of you dreaming and getting off of food stamps or that type of assistance.
Right. So their fear was that I was just for pride's sake refusing to take it. I was like, no, trust me. You know, I was getting, let's say, $300 a month in food stamps. And I said, okay, so now I'm actually making $800 a month. And so I have enough money that I can actually pay for my own groceries.
So you're making more than what they were giving you, and they had a problem with that.
Right, because I was still qualified. So as I began to do that, it's like, wait a minute. The more that I began to assert myself, the more resistance there was to me asserting myself. And so I could have given up and said, you know what, you're right. I can't do this without you. But because I had you encouraging me, saying, you know what, Cathy, when we get to this place, we'd figured out a plan, we will be able to then walk on our own 2 feet, and we might be crawling first, then walking, but then we're going to be able to run. And I think when we decide how we're actually going to leverage resources, it's leveraging the resources that you need when you need them, and knowing how and when to actually stop using those resources and become a resource to others.
You know, one thing you said earlier, though, that we had an end date, right? But we didn't necessarily have an out date. We had to create an out date, and that's empowering. When you're conscious, okay, I'm going in, but I'm not staying in. Just like we tell ourselves in penitentiary, I'm going in, but I'm not staying in, and we have an out date. So with government assistance, you got to have a plan, and we want to encourage you to help to start creating a plan. You might go in and get food stamps today, but what's your out date? What are you preparing yourself? Are you going to be on food stamps for a year, 2 years? How long do you see yourself under that type of assistance?
So when we come back, we're going to tie it all together and give you practical tips. Number 1, why it's important for your kids. What messages are you sending to your kids? Number 2, how do you do it? We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine Tiarina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina.
And today we're talking about how to take advantage of the resources that are out there to help you succeed and to get where you want to go.
Right. And so as we finish up this show, we really want to focus in on the impact on your children. I remember, when we got our food stamps and we had extra money to be actually go to the grocery store and buy food, how excited they were that, wow, we're not just eating crackers and peanut butter anymore. And so that showed them, number 1, it's okay to ask for help. But I also remember the feeling and the sense of empowerment, because, okay, it's okay to ask for help. Then it's kind of embarrassing to ask for help, but okay, we need help. And now, watch my mom work really hard to get us off of assistance, and that empowering sense of, wow, if I work hard, there's nothing I can't achieve.
And I want to say this too. I said the advantage, but what Cathy did was really she leveraged. We don't want to seem like we're taking advantage of people or
in a negative way.
In a negative way, but you got to know how to leverage the tools that are out there for you to become successful. And that's what Cathy did. She was able to leverage the assistance that was there to help achieve while we were dreaming together. Now I'm inside the prison, and I'm just encouraging Cathy that you can do this and that you can meet the deadlines and the goals that we were planning.
So all the theories that Ron had, he was imparting all these theories, and then I'm putting them in action. I come back and I tell Ron, wow, you know what, you were right. And then Ron's like, wow, it really worked?
At times I was like, wow, it worked.
I was like, what do you mean it worked? You told me it was going to work.
They're in theory inside the penitentiary. You have a lot of time to think, and now we're counting on somebody on the outside. Hey, see if this works. Put this into practice. And when it does work, boom, you can transfer those principles in other areas of your life.
Yeah. And so one of the biggest questions, the reason we're talking about this is because that's the number 1 question that we get from almost every person out here who has an incarcerated loved one. Number 1, where do I go for help and how do I take advantage of it without getting stuck in the welfare system for generations? And number 2, okay, now that I'm on welfare, how do I get off because I don't want to be here the rest of my life? So the number 1 thing is change your mindset and know that you're not hopeless, you're not helpless.
And you're not alone.
You're not alone. Many, many people are in the system. Many, many people have been able to navigate through the system and get out on the other side. So knowing one, that you're not alone. Number two, making the decision that you're going to get off. And number three, deciding how and when that's going to be. So that might be, well, when we're making this much money, when we've achieved this goal, when we've gotten this degree, whatever it is, set that in stone. Put your marker down and say, this is when I'm going to get off.
So remember, this isn't just about you, dads. This is about the legacy that you're creating for your children. When they see, when you come out, when you're empowering mom, you're empowering your spouse or your significant other, the one who's raising your children, and you're encouraging them that there is an out date. There's such a thing as an out date in their life.
This is achievable.
Oh,
this
my
is
goodness.
achievable, I promise.
And your children will see that, and they too will be empowered, where they don't have to be the next generation to experience incarceration, poverty, or entitlement.
Thank you so much for joining us today and letting us be part of your journey.
So until next time, always remember that we are rooting for you.
I am a man of honor.
I am a man of integrity.
I am a man of faith. I am the antidote.
I am a man of discipline. I am a leader.
I am strong.
I am a man worth following.
I am a TYRO.